Hi, I'm here with Greg. Here's from Supergiant Games, here to talk about Bastion. Why don't you tell us a bit about it?
Sure. Bastion's an original action role-playing game, and the first game from Supergiant Games. We were founded in September 2009 by a couple of ex-EALA guys, so we were working on the Command & Conquer series together, decided to leave and do our own thing. In this game, you play as this character who wakes up to discover this kind of surreal catastrophe has occurred to his world that's kind of split it into pieces. So he makes his way to this location called the Bastion, where his people were supposed to go in case anything went wrong. But when he arrives there, the only person he finds is this old man. But this old man believes he has a plan that's going to set things straight. He just needs your help. So you kind of join forces with him to find the materials he needs to kind of complete his project. That's the basic setup. That's kind of the story of this opening prologue that we have playable here at PAX. But playing it is very different than sort of describing it, because what you discover essentially immediately is that the game is fully narrated. The story kind of unravels as you play, at the rate at which you play. That's our kind of technique to make it so that the game has kind of a story and greater meaning and some emotional depth to it and yet that it never sort of intrudes upon the gameplay, never like interrupts the gameplay with like long, cutscenes or anything.
In fact, actually, one of the main things with the game is actually the narration of the game is basically dynamic, based off the player's action.
Yeah.
Now, was that something that was kind of always part of the design, or is it something that kind of came along as you were working on it?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So the narration was not always part of the design. The game, the reason we got to a game like this is because it spent 9 months just being prototyped. The only things we started with was the desire to make an action role-playing game from like a 2D isometric perspective, and the other thing that we liked was this idea of we liked the feeling of like towns in action RPGs, like kind of a safe haven type of location. And then one of the first things we developed was this technique of like the world coming up around you, because we wanted an action RPG where you weren't constantly like referring to a map or getting disoriented or anything like that. And from there, we developed the fiction and everything. The other side of it was that we wanted a game that was more than just fun. Like we wanted to make really kind of tight, responsive controls on it, but at the same time, that wasn't enough for us. We wanted it to kind of resonate with people in some way. So we wanted something there, from a story perspective, but it was a hard requirement for us for it to not get in people's way. We don't want to start with big walls of text or anything. So we bashed our heads against that for a while. One day we decided to try some voiceover narration, because we know this guy over there, Logan Cunningham, who has this amazing voice. He's an actor in New York. We had him record a few lines, and we liked the sound of it immediately, developed this narrator character, and sort of never turned back. We went whole hog with it, so it becomes a very pervasive element in the game.
Yeah, and it actually worked out very excellent. And with my experience in the game, it felt very natural. It didn't feel forced. It felt pretty much just like it should be there, basically.
That's cool. Yeah, we put a lot of work into tuning it just right, because we want to create a game that has a strong sense of atmosphere. But the thing about that is, like, any little problem can like yank you out of that atmosphere, break immersion almost instantly. So we really need to focus on getting that feeling just right, because we really, or I personally as a game player, it's very valuable to me when like a game makes me feel like I'm in like a unique world of some sort, that I like the feeling of being immersed in a world. I miss playing games like that. They're not super common. So we wanted to make one, and the narration is a big contributing factor to it, as is the artwork and the music and kind of all the little things we're doing.
So do you have a projected release window for Bastion?
Yeah, the game is coming to Xbox Live Arcade in the summer, and then PC later this year. So right now we have the game fully playable, start to finish. You just need to tune and polish the whole thing and get it out there.
All right, well, thank you very much, Greg.
Yeah, my pleasure.